Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of GridTalk Live. We are coming to you live right now from the actual F1 hub. F2 free practice will be happening in the background. You can probably hear some engines revving, but joining you as your hosts today, you can see me without a head because of Roblox, and Ben, Despicable Devil, who's wearing a rather nice, is that a tuxedo I can see there?
It is indeed, yeah, thank you, and welcome everyone.
So we're going to be starting off very quickly, getting straight into our first interview with, I think, the most famous person from Ion. It's Dakir too, the three-time world champion himself. Hello, how are you doing today, Dakir?
Hi guys, so far so good. I mean, the workday has been tiring, but yeah, doing so far so good.
That's good. What are your thoughts on the championship battle we have right now between you and Kaikera? You're obviously just a bit ahead by 17 points following your win in Qatar, but how do you think that's going to end up?
Sorry, I had a moment. So I think I've seen the performance so far from Kaikera. I've seen the performance from Kaikera so far in the season, and they don't look very good. But UAE is one of his strong tracks, as we have seen in season 3. Sorry for the moments, I had to go AFK real quick.
Okay.
So yeah, Kaikera's one of his favorite tracks, which is not of my opinion. So yeah, we've seen in season 3 that he has been very strong all around. He even has got a race POV uploaded. But yeah, the championship fight, I think, is going to be ending. Well, it's going to end in a good note, but
Well, thank you very much for that. And Dakir, I mean, we can see on the camera at the moment you're sporting your new helmet livery design. Tell us a little bit about that.
sorry, can you repeat? I've
So
got
we see
bothered in.
yeah, your new helmet design here that you guys can see on camera.
Oh yeah,
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So Marush has been the one making it. Last week it was supposed to be shown, but obviously the Grand Prix didn't happen. Sorry beforehand for the little moments. I'm being actually bothered in real life. So all the statistics are on it, representing the whole 4 seasons overall. So the pole positions, the points, the wins, and the podiums. And it's been heavily inspired by Lewis Hamilton's real life helmet, because I really like the design and I thought it was fitting.
Dakar, do you have any predictions on the how the race result is going to go in Dubai tomorrow? Obviously, you've been very quick there before last season, but you've said previously in private how some tyre degradation problems could come in.
Yeah, that's true. The tire deck sucks on the fucking. Oh, stop! Stop! Merde!
Going to get us demonetized now.
Oops. Yeah, the tire degradation is bad, so it's going to be to stop.
Yeah, and do you have any kind of predictions on who might be winning the championship this season so far, Dakir, with the information that you have so far with how drivers are performing like yourself?
Let's be realistic, I don't think Kaikera is going to beat Critical Noob or Merc Music or even Seva, so I'm being completely honest there.
Have you got any I don't know how to say this really. Have you got any personal thoughts on the I'll call it a loophole really. There's some F1 main drivers such as yourself. You're going to be racing in different series over the rest of the weekend. You yourself have said you want to go over to F2 to try and mix up the championship battle there. We know some people are going to go to GT3 and maybe possibly even Crossbow or Formula E and I8 next weekend. What do you think on that? I'll say it again, loophole.
Well, I mean, it's their own choice to have implemented the series lock rule. Last season, we were not able to race 2 series on the same weekend, which is now possible, but you get series restricted if you, for example, qualify on F1 and then qualify in F2 right after. You get locked into F2. But you can race twice on the same weekend, which was not obviously in place last season. So I don't think necessarily that's a loophole, but yeah, you can take advantage of that on the final race. Of course, if you start in F1, because if you race in F2 and want to race in F1, you just can't.
Sure, and no, I think this has been quite anticipated by a lot of the fans out here. There's a lot of skeptical thoughts on this. Are you actually going to retire officially from Iron after the season? You are?
Yes,
okay.
I am. And there's furthermore proof, as I've asked Kashmir, so the previous league owner, which is now Faster. So yeah, I'm going to get them to officially not race ban, not season ban, but something related to that, because I'm going to be testing stuff out for the IFR game, which is the main reason why I've asked to get to be unable to participate in season 5 onwards. So here you go. That's my retirement, gentlemen.
So you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Dakir 2 is actually going to be leaving us, sadly, at the end of the season. So thank you very much, Dakir, for coming in today and talking to us for 10 minutes on your thoughts on the championship. But now, when the show was originally scheduled, Shaye wasn't available. So we did pre-record their interview. If you remember, you would have probably already seen this because I released it last weekend due to Roblox being out. But Shaye is actually with us. I won't get him to talk because we have a video of him talking for us. So let's take a look. Hello, Shaye. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you, D-Pod?
I'm doing well as well. We can see the two beautiful brandstar F1 cars you've run in Season 3 and Season 4 respectively sitting next to us. Obviously because in Dubai next weekend you're going to be running your old classic liveries, and in GT3 in the USA as well. And in F2, actually. I forgot you have an F2 team. So are you excited to be running these retro liveries for your teams?
I am. And honestly, I feel like a lot of people prefer the old livery over the new livery. They enjoyed seeing Ford on an F1 car battling against Ferrari. And I guess a few people were actually not interested in seeing Maserati on the car. I guess they were more interested in Ford. And honestly, a lot of people were more interested in the John Player special livery than they are in the brand new one because they liked all the different lines on it. In my opinion, I prefer the new one, but I can understand where people are going at with the old one, especially since a lot of people have been using it on the IFR game. So it's going to be good to see it at least running on its last few races.
So you're going to be running these classic liveries in the races. You're also going to be running, should I say, classic drivers with JXCast and Merc Music?
That is true. We have JCast and Merc Music back. We started with them in the beginning of our career when it came to GT3 for the first season of GT3. And we were able to persuade Merc Music to come back for that final race. Turns out the 2 races per weekend rule was not in effect. And so Dakir was able to get into F1 and F2 for this last weekend. And if he can do it, then so can we. So I was able to tell Merc Music that he was able to get that GT3 race in after his final Audi race. And so it's going to be a great send-off for the GT3 team, the one that started it all.
What are your thoughts on the, well, I think, epic championship battle between Kaikera and Dakir? Dakir obviously having 3 less races to score points, but the gap now just 17 points with Dakir leading into the final race. What do you think of this battle?
As much as I believe Kaikera has a shot, I think Dakir is definitely going to be able to get it, and not with us. It's not because he's one of our old teammates. I honestly just think it is because Dakir only ran 7 out of 10 races, or at least 6 out of 10 now. It will be 7 out of 10 when he hits Dubai, and he has already gone ahead of Kaikera. And seeing how Kaikera has been, working in the last few races, you saw it in Japan, you saw it in Qatar. He hasn't had that much of a good pace. And honestly, probably having Dakar passing him in the Drivers' Championship and having KR fourth in the Constructors, it has completely demoralized his morale. So if he brings it back in order to try and go for a fight at Dubai, I'd be happy, but I wouldn't be surprised if Dakar is going to hold on to that spot.
What are you mentioned it then, the constructors battle. What are your thoughts on it? Because we've seen Brandstar, Audi, Aston Martin and KRR all really battle it out for top spot. There are 4 teams all currently showing the top 4, and there's there's less than 10 points between KRR and Aston Martin, and there's a little gap between Audi and Brandstar. What are your thoughts on that battle for the Constructors' Championship this season?
When it comes to the top 4, Brandstar, Audi, Aston Martin, and KRR, I think there's really only 2 battles. Because Aston Martin and KRR are at about 100 points, maybe 5 or 6 extra. Then you have Brandstar and Audi, which are at 160, and I do believe 140 respectively. And no matter what Aston Martin and KRR do, I mean, KR might have the better chance at this, but Aston Martin, I don't believe they'll be able to get 2 people in those podium spots at Dubai. As much as they can, Ferdinand's the only one I see actually getting something done. Project User might have a lucky break, like Landstroid did, but I don't see that happening on the final one. Now, when it comes to Brandstar and Audi, that's the one that's really to be looking for, because Audi has some top contender drivers, Stanza Hadjek and 420 Merc Music. They can get the points. However, if by some either miracle or complete loss of luck, if 420 Merc Music or Danza Hadjek crashes out at Dubai, then it completely secures the championship for Brandstar. And then if Brandstar gets, I'd say at least 10 points, then that's also securing it. So Audi has to basically take a rabbit out of the hat come Dubai in order to get something done, because they're also going to be competing against Matt and Landstroid. Matt didn't actually do that well in the last race. However, he was able to get in the top 10, but Landstroid got a podium for one of the first times in his career at Qatar now that Slipstream has been deactivated. Because Landstroid was always good when it came to not having the Slipstream, and since it will also not be allowed in Dubai, he has a good shot at getting good points. So, if anything, if you asked me if Brandstar Audi were going to get it, I wouldn't know. I'd say it'd probably be about 40%, 60% Brandstar's favor.
Moving on to the news post that was sent out the other day, your letter to the Ion community. Why have you decided on dissolving Brandstar and handing out the team slots to different people when you're currently on such a high with the team? You know, you came out of last season, Patrick Hero second in the championship. You are currently on track to win the F1 Constructors. Dakir, your driver, who's going with Craig this weekend, but he's been with you for the rest of the season. He's on track to win the drivers, or against Kaikera. You've won the Formula E Championship, both of them constructors and drivers with Gene. Why are you dissolving the team?
You know, when you've owned a team for as long as I have, you start to kind of forget how your life was before you started dealing with hiring racing drivers, making liveries, completely managing your team, hiring people for stuff that wasn't even drivers, like engineers and other people in that manner. And you kind of just forget how much time you waste by doing all of that. Because as much as it's been incredible being a team owner, working with Dakir, working with Patrick Crew and everybody else, and getting a lot of wins and making a name for myself with Brandstar, you have to understand it took a lot to get there. It took a lot of people leaving, took a lot of people putting me in a lot of stress. I'm going to be honest, I spent about $760 on Dakir just to keep him on the team because Kaikera was in a bidding war with me for a good amount of time. It started with me only having to pay him 60 per race, but then Kaikera started pushing and pushing, and then it ended up that I had to eventually double that offer each race rating. Of course, it was fine for me, but you don't want to keep doing that all the time. And just having to deal with that started to make me realize, well, maybe it's not the best for me to keep owning a team. Maybe I need to have somebody else take the reins. Maybe it's time to have some new blood, or at least keep some of the people who we've known for so long instead. There's more people who deserve a chance than just some silly team that sports black and gold. However, I will say that it has been a fun one, and the brandstar name's been with me for a good 3 years now, but not every single one of those times was a good time for that name, and I think it's time that I retire the name itself and start looking at something better.
What can we as a community expect from you? Obviously, you said in your letter you're going to be working on IFR and some more of the behind the scenes league stuff. What can we expect from you next season and into the future? Now you're no longer going to be heading up Brandstar.
Well, of course, like you said, I'm not going to be completely leaving the Ion community. I'm still going to stay as somebody who's helping out Kashmir Q and Fasta, and supposedly making some new tracks. I've talked to Infantry Airborne and Fast and Luca, seeing if I could learn how to do blender tracks. So I might be able to make some street circuits or some proper motorways for the next season. You have to understand, when it comes to the next seasons, a lot of things are going to be changing. It might not even look recognizable to this season, but I hopefully will be able to make a lot of different things, hopefully some new tracks. I had some that I've made concepts and brainstorms for that I've passed over to the other people. They seem to like them. Whether or not they're actually going to be for the next season, we'll have to see. And if I get the expertise on blender making, that's another thing. However, what you will see from me soon with the next IFR update is, if you don't remember, I was the one who created all the different pictures for the maps in the main menu. Those will all be getting a rehaul, especially with the addition of some new maps. I really think they're going to look very good, especially compared to how the old ones look. So you should definitely be ready for that. But other than that, what happens in Ion for me until now, I don't know. I mean, it's still pretty early. We won't see the next season until March, but I'm excited to see what happens. And not just when it comes to Ion Racing and IFR, but I'm also going to definitely stay as a media person as well, helping you out, Dpod, when it comes to the commentating. I'm not giving that up. But at least now that I don't own a team, nobody has to think that I'm being biased. So if you think about it, this is a win-win.
Well, thank you very much for your time. Good luck to the team and your drivers for the team's final race in F1, F2 and GT3, and hopefully we can look forward to some exciting stuff in Season 5. So that was Shaye's interview there. Some very interesting questions and answers we got from him. But right now we're going to talk about the BMW changes that are going to be happening. So we've got their main driver, and I personally think best driver because the other driver keeps swapping around. We've got Indominus Rex here to talk to us all about it. Hello, Indom.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. And just before we get into your interview, I know some people are going to be hoping and very excited to get into that interview. We've got a little sneak peek for Season 5 coming at near the end of the broadcast, so make sure you stick around for that. You certainly do not want to miss it. So, Indom, let's get into talking about BMW. What are your thoughts on your beloved team principal, Trom, leaving Ion and yourself taking over the ownership of the team?
Well, honestly, it's pretty sad, but it was definitely a plan that once I got in, it was almost a plan that was going to come. We know that he was going to leave at some point, but it was just a matter of time of who the team would be given to. It was either me and Apollo, but Apollo decided to give it to me, and he took over the Audi F2.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of question, a lot of the viewers are interested. Do you personally know why Trom has decided to leave?
He just said he just wants to take a break and all. You know, personal life, all of that stuff. It's nothing really big, and, you know, you can respect that.
Apologies there, seem to be having some kind of issues. And do you know sort of why you were picked personally to be the new team boss? Was any reason specifically it was you over others?
No, not really. It was just, literally just, you know, you get the team day over, and that was it. And we just based it off of that.
Is there? I'm back now. Sorry, my microphone was muted. Is there going to be a rebranding? Is BMW staying as BMW?
Oh, definitely not. There's definitely plans I have for the future of this team. Definitely some brand changes, but well, I may have a little BMW here and there just to commemorate the past of this team and its success, sort of.
And last little question here we've got. We've already asked Dakir this, so it'll be interesting to get your interpretation on it. Do you have any kind of predictions or thoughts on who the championship winner will be, or any kind of predictions at all for the end of the season in terms of results?
Personally, I would want to say Kaikera, but from the recent results that's been happening in all the way at Qatar and USA and Japan and all that, I'm saying it's gonna be Dakir. Even though he has, in R&D wise, the slowest car, he's gonna probably do good and probably gonna claim that championship for his own.
Mm-hmm.
Is there? We talked before to Dakir on what he thinks the race result will look like in Dubai. There's going to be some tyre degradation, possibly. That's what he's been telling us. What do you actually think about this track itself?
Well, as he said, there is definitely some tire degradation. The S's on Sector 1, and a lot of braking, and a lot of turning, basically. As you see from the long turns, long sweepers, it's going to be hard on the tires, it's going to be hard on the brakes, and it's going to wear those tires very fast, as I experienced with brandstar last season. Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to try to keep those tires at hand, so it'll be very interesting to see.
Do you have any data that you're willing to leak? I don't know, strategies or.
I wasn't in FP1,
okay.
I wasn't in FP1, so I don't know.
What's your opinion on the little mix-up we're going to be seeing with some drivers, like we spoke to Dakir about? I'm calling it a loophole. In the rules, technically it's not a loophole. But what do you think of F1 drivers moving to Formula 2, GT3, and the other leagues? Now they don't have F1 to commit to, and they don't mind getting series locked to a more junior series.
Well, honestly, I signed Dan Sahajak for my team in GT3, so I can't really say much about this. But personally, it gives them more opportunity for us to drive more cars than what the rules say, since it makes them more restrictive. But yeah, try to give us more freedom in the driving, and just to have more fun.
Very good indeed. I think especially with a league such as Ion, the fun part is the most key part. If you're not having fun, you don't really want to stick around, do you?
No. If you're not having fun, then what's the point of saying? It goes for anything, really. If you're not having fun, then what's the point?
Yeah, I very much agree with that statement.
And you mentioned earlier about being unlikely BMW brand would be staying, as it likely see a change, but maybe still some hints with BMW. Can you leak anything now of any kind of brand or franchise you intend to be running to? I mean, sure. Is there a name you're going to be running with soon?
Well, it's definitely back in a long time ago, but it's a bit of a cheeky name. But Emerald Overdrive. That's the team that I planned. It's already entered in iShark Tactics League, and it was in previous leagues, but then it died out. But I'm hoping to get it back up on its feet.
Perfect. Well, we look forward to seeing the livery and branding for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just conscious here of time. We're meant to be talking to Fexing next. I'm just waiting for them to show up. So we're just keeping you here in Indom for the time being. So we have something to cover. Are you excited for next season? With season 5 expected to start in the spring of next year, are you looking forward to bringing in your new team and picking up the reins of BMW and seeing the new grid? Because obviously Dakir's going. Kaikera said they're no longer going to be competing full time. I'm not exactly sure what that means. We'll talk to him later about that. But are you just excited overall for what could be happening next year with Season 5? And it's not just F1
Yeah,
either. It could be any league.
Well, honestly, I am very, very happy. I can't wait to just see all the new faces, all the new cars, and I heard that F1 may be getting a new look, but I don't know specifically. I just heard that from other drivers.
Is that like a cover up, or have you only just heard that from other drivers?
No, I literally just only heard that from other drivers. I
Because
honestly
we saw
don't
there was
know.
opinion management from
I can't see
opinion
management,
management from
remember?
Kashmir Q. They said that to F1, GT3, and F2, I think, don't make new liveries. So that either means Ion's
Oh,
getting
yeah.
shelved or there's new models coming in. And Ben, I think
Probably,
you have a
most
question
likely.
from the chat.
Yeah, so we've got Roblox Motorsport League Series here in chat, who's got a question directly for you. He says, so far BMW have not been seeing lots of screen time or being competitive this season. How do you feel about your plans for next season, and what are your goals to reach for next season?
Well, honestly, the podium in Hungary was a bit lucky, as we all know, from the server crashes and all of that. I definitely would have not gotten a podium if it wasn't for that. But the recent success in USA and all of that, I really hope to do as well, or even better at some point. Like, maybe fight for wins, if possible. Because, yeah, I just hope to do better than where we are now, as every other driver would.
Sure.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Indom. You're probably going to be busy and getting into something with this Formula 2 practice session. I don't know. Do you have much association with F2?
No.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just.
Well, we'll
I'm just
let you go
focusing on
now
my
because you'll have FP2 for F1 coming shortly, I believe.
Yes, and we're running that special livery again for Trom, the iForce BMW livery, based on apparently. Yeah, I based it off Jogsy's real life BMW bike. So yeah, pretty fun.
Well, thank you very much, Indom, and hopefully we should have a Wild Fexing turning up in just a few moments.
All right, thank you for having me.
So whilst we just wait for this little set swap to go around, you get a lovely look at the burger that is suspended inside the main hub area here in the Ion Media Center. And we say hello to Fexing. Hello, Fexing.
Hello, Default. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, Fexing? It's
Bro,
been a
how do you
very-
sit here?
I don't know. There should be a seat there.
Just stand in
Okay,
place.
well,
if
there
you want
isn't,
to.
so I'm just gonna stand here.
Just okay. That'll work. You could just
Technical
stand there.
difficulties, and Dom got teleported with the seat still in, so I have to move that over now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you, Shaye,
fine.
in our behind the scenes crew. So
Behind the scenes, there you go,
There
Fex,
we
that'll
go.
work.
Thank you, Shaye.
Thank you.
So I wanted to.
Okay, this is great. I'm enjoying this. hmm
Hey, we'll deal with
Okay,
this.
what?
So,
Yeah, what's going
Fexing,
on?
I wanted to start off today with your take on why Static was let go and Fernand's coming in for round 10 of the championship, because they've obviously been very associated with AMR, like Professor Bloxer was. So why have you made that switch? I've seen some rumours, but I don't wanna.
Can we
come
have
up
it one
with
question at
anything.
a time? You're confusing me right now. Should we start with the static question, okay?
Okay, go with the Static question.
Okay, so as everyone knows, Static was accused of cheating many times, and his car has, of course, looks very suspicious. But nobody has proof he's cheated, so he's not banned or anything. And I personally, or anyone who owns a team, they would agree that the best course of action would have been like letting Static go, because it's better for the reputation, even though if I own a team, the team doesn't have the best of reputation, of course. And yeah, well, I was also threatened by Fasta. He said that if Static was found to be cheating, the points from Japan would be nullified, and any other points scored will be gone too. So I decided it would be best that since he threatened me, just to get Fernand as soon as possible. And after I knew Fernand was keen on joining for the final race, I thought, why not have him one race earlier so he can get used to the team before the next season.
Okay, and was it the original plan to take the consistent Aston Martin drivers and bring them across to Pro Drive?
Well, before I bought the team, or before I ever thought I would be able to get my hands on a team, I always thought AMR have one of the most consistent drivers. That's very obvious to see. And that's someone who's been in engineering Ion F1 for a season and who actually enjoys engineering. Or anyone who's very good at engineering, you would know their favorite kind of driver is not quick drivers, but it's rather consistent drivers. This is why I enjoyed engineering or collection data. For Dakir, for example, it's so easy to make strategies when the driver is super consistent. So I knew the AMR drivers were super consistent. I always thought this team is very good. And before races start, they always mention something about lacking engineers or only having one engineer. And it always baffled me that like such talented drivers wouldn't have the team to surround them to be unleashing their full potential. And I always thought to myself, if I ever get a team, I should definitely eye them out. I actually asked Professor Bloxer a long time ago when I was still an engineer in eSpirit. I asked him if he got paid in AMR because eSpirit was struggling at the time and they were looking for drivers, and I was just wanting to see what was in the market. And I asked Professor if he was paid or anything because I knew Infantry made some Robux from sponsors, not that much. I just wanted to know if it was shared. And after knowing he didn't get paid, I've always had him on my wish list, if that makes sense. But yeah, since I got the team, since I knew the drivers were interested, it was basically smooth sailing from there, and it was basically the best thing that could have happened to the team, in my opinion. You know.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on the USGP? It was the first race for the team since you purchased it and rebranded it from Mazda. Just can you take us through the day of the USGP?
It was like my first race, F1 race in Greece. It was just nerve-wracking, you know. You don't know what to expect. You have low expectations. You hope for the best. You don't want to like bring yourself down, but you also don't want to get your hopes up too much. But you know, you get excited. You have Melodic, who's a quick driver. You know, he's quick. You've worked with him before. You remember Canada from last season. You think a podium is possible, maybe. You just leave it at the back of your mind. You also have Professor Bloxer. You have less hopes, maybe, because he struggled this season. Maybe it's his time to shine again. And yeah, you're just nervous. You don't know how it goes. You just hope it goes well. You just hope to secure R&D points at the time. And yeah, the race comes, qualifying comes. We qualify in the top 6 with both cars. I don't remember. Was it P2 and P4, I believe? Yeah, I believe it was P2 and P4.
I think it was that. I can remember saying Professor Bloxer was on the front row in commentary.
Yeah, that was it. And I remember at the time, I was like, oh my god, insane qualifying, because we knew they had the lap times. And we still had less hopes for the race because we know the car was awful. Mazda basically didn't finish. They only finished like 2 races or 3 races this season. They had engineers driving the cars most of the time. So I was very nervous. I knew the car wasn't great. I know we had long straights there as well. So I was thinking, yeah, we might lose out. I was just hoping we don't lose out on strategy. But yeah, we do that first lap. Professor crashes on that lap. And then I think to myself, are they going to DNF him because of that? And that was a main concern. But that didn't happen. You can just watch this on my stream to see what happens. Anyways, it was very nerve-wracking. I was very worried. I never expected a win until the final lap. And yeah, that's when everything changed. You know, when Professor was fighting for that lead, when he was fighting with Critical as they went through corners, losing out, and overtaking each other corner after corner. And then like on the final corner, you just see Critical get like a slightly better exit and you lose all hope. And then out of nowhere, you see Professor finish in first man. It was amazing. If I could relive it again, I would cry. Even though I did cry. But anyways, we won't talk about that. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
linking on to that briefly, we've asked Indominus Rex about it now, we've asked Dakir about it now. What are your predictions in terms of end season about the championship winner and any results in total at the end of the season?
Let me check the standings 1 second. Uh, F1 standings. Okay, so Dakir is leading by 17 points, you guys said.
Yeah.
I think, well, I know that Critical has a very big grudge at the moment against Kaikera. He doesn't want to let him through anywhere because I know he's been practicing UAE and I know he's very mad at Kaikera or KRR in general. And yeah, I think Dakir has this championship guaranteed, I think. I don't think Kaikera has been struggling way too much this season. I don't see how he can pull it off. This race, Kaikera is a good driver. He won like 2 races this season. So I don't know what to expect, but I really doubt he can win this and pull it off, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have Dakir. Probably a 1-2 from Pro Drive, so there's no hope for Kaikera.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Fexing. I can see
No
Ash's
problem.
trying to fix your chair here. Just bring it up a little bit.
Again?
I think he's
Bro,
managed to do it.
why is he touching my bunda? What?
God.
Oh, you're on the same level with us now. You're no longer in the kiddie seat. There we go.
It's fine. Okay, goodbye, Kashmir.
He's off
Are
again.
there any more questions? I'm enjoying this.
Well, we were just looking in chat. If you're watching and you want to ask Fexing a question, feel free to just say so in chat because we will bring them in and see if we can ask them as well. So now.
Oh
now
yeah,
is-
someone just asked where they can get my race suit. They can get it in my fan group. It's 15 Robux a piece.
Nice plug.
I'm
Nice
joking.
plug. The second plug. Okay, Fexing. I think it's time. I think.
Sky asks
Wait,
how much
wait,
are you
hold
paying
up.
your drivers? I am not paying my drivers. It's actually not me paying them, but yeah, it's Water. Ask him if he wants to answer.
I
He's
have
the
a
one who pays.
question.
Oh,
Shaye
Shaye is here.
appeared.
Hi.
Hello, Shaye, from our behind the scenes
Hello,
team.
Fexallen. Hello, Dpod.
Hello,
Hi,
Shaye.
I have a question.
What's up?
Fexallen, what is your opinion on water department and how much has he been helping you get this team off the ground?
He's carrying the team at the moment. The thing is, listen, when I got the team, I was like, I don't want to name it Fexallen Racing because you know what would happen. So I was thinking, what can I name it? And I wanted to find some established brands or like at least somewhat known brands. I actually contacted Apollo first. I contacted. Wait, did I ask Kaikera for Nevena? I'm not sure. I don't think I asked for Nevena. But I asked Apollo to do Apollo Motorsports. But he told me he doesn't want to do that because he's planning to get a team or whatever. So I asked Kaikera what I can do. And he told me water department would be interested to do Pro Drive. And that's when I DM'd him and we decided to do Pro Drive. And at the time, I wasn't like looking to get financial support. I just wanted to get like an established brand. They have their own staff that I can trust in the team. And maybe they can help me get drivers. And once I got him, he told me, listen, so I saw Melodic in general posting that like he said to me that he would drive if he got paid, and I told Water about it, and he said, yeah, if drivers need to be paid, I'll handle it myself. And that's when I found out I could get drivers and pay them, and that made life way easier, and that made Professor Bloxer getting him as well way easier. And it's literally carried the team. I'm not sure if Professor and Fernan would have joined the team otherwise. I hope now that they get to drive in the team, hopefully it's not only money that's going to convince them to stay. But yeah, Water has played a very, very big role in carrying the team.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Fexing. We're just going to wait for Kaikera to get in here. Should be arriving any second. But if you are new to the stream, you've just tuned in, a sneak peek, an exclusive look at some Season 5 stuff is coming near the end at about 10 to the hour, or I'd say probably about 5 to the hour at this point. So make sure you stick around for that. We can currently see we've got 42 of you joining us. So thank you very much for coming in, and thank you very much to Fexing for spending time with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So whilst we just wait for Kaikera to get into the pen here, hopefully.
There we go.
He's coming in. I've got to wait. Now got to wait for Fexing to leave.
A little bit of a scene change.
Not very,
Third time today.
not very slick, is it? There we go.
No, it isn't indeed. We should probably get another chair to do a little shuffle.
Yeah, that would have been a good idea. But hello, Kaikera, P2, currently in the championship, 3-time runner-up to the RNF1 World Drivers' Championship. Thank you very much for coming in and joining us today. First
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah, first question to you. What are your thoughts on the current battle between you and Dakir? And over the entire season, not just about right now.
Oof, well, over the entire season, I guess, fairly interesting, went a lot better than expected. I guess in the later stages didn't quite materialize. Hope is pretty much gone, so...
Yeah, that's a very
it is what
positive
it is.
outlook.
It was fun, Not much to say, I guess.
Yeah, no, okay, fair enough. I mean, I'll jump to the chase. The main question I've been asking to a few of the interviewees so far, because it'd be interesting to get your perspective as well. If you're taking the season into account as a whole, what's your prediction on the kind of end status for the championship? Who do you think is going to win it?
Well, for the Teams Championship, brandstar, I'd hope they'd win it, just out of personal reasons. And personal dislike for other people, but yeah, that's a brandstar. Really backing them up this weekend.
Thank you.
For Drivers' Championship, backing myself. Even though that, I mean, what happens. I'm on the back foot, so I can't really go down. So I'll try.
What is your opinion on Dakir only going up to round 3 of the championship with his 4-race ban? Because obviously he wanted to race in France, and the officials let him race in France. Do you think he should have taken another race off this season that wasn't the French GP, so he got the full 4 out of 4 race official first time round ban?
Oh, damn right he should have.
Okay.
Yeah, it would benefit me in many ways, but.
Yeah, and linking onto that prediction theme still, how do you think both you and other drivers and teams are going to be performing in Dubai coming up?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, linking onto the prediction theme, how do you think you're going to be performing in Dubai, both as a team, as a driver individually, and then perhaps some predictions of other drivers?
Well, predictions of other drivers. I don't know. I missed FP1. We had Noah run in free practice, and Patrick Earl. They got some good data in, so we should be able to score some good points. Hopefully challenge for a podium. In a miracle case, maybe even a win. Anything's possible, obviously, but yeah. We'll try. There's a lot of good drivers to watch out for, so.
Trying is the most key part, I think, if you're going to attempt to get good points. You announced, I can't remember how long ago it was now. It was last month, I think. You announced that you were retiring, but not fully. You said you were retiring from full-time competition, and I quote from your statement that you put out. What does that mean? Are you going to be racing in select events next season? Are you going to be doing something different, not F1? What does that... Can you piece together what that statement actually means for us? Because we've been trying to figure out what it actually means.
Okay, so basically it's all of those things that you just listed. Except for select races, it's not exactly selected. It's more of if one of my 2 drivers is unavailable and I'm available, I'll happily hop in. And as for other series, that's always a possibility. Obviously not a full season. I don't plan on doing that for next season, but as a reserve driver, quite possible.
All right,
Okay.
and question coming in directly from the chat here. This one's from East. He says, what's your opinion currently on the F2 driver market, and who do you think is lined up next to take the seat at KRR?
Well, the second question I can't answer quite yet, because there's a few drivers. And the F2 grid is actually quite impressive. The quality of the drivers hasn't been this good since Season 1. In fact, it's much better than Season 1, and that's a pretty good feat, for sure. There's a lot of people who are going to be moving up to F1 for sure, in any team. There's a lot of really good drivers. There's a very close championship fight. It's still going on. So I'm expecting a lot of them to be moving up.
Is there any more questions from chat that you found, Ben?
Not that I see so far. Not anything relevant, at least, anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, I would just like to remind all 38 of you currently watching the broadcast, there's a sneak peek coming at the end, probably at about 5 minutes to the hour. So in about 5 minutes' time, there is going to be a little bit of a sneak peek for Season 5. So make sure you stick around so you don't miss that. You definitely won't want to. But for now, Kaikera, well, thank you for joining us for this short little interview. And good luck tomorrow for the race.
Thank you, and good luck to you streaming as well.
Thank you very much, Kaikera.
Good job done to everyone in the media team. Excellent work all season. So,
Thank you.
just congratulations to all of you.
And,
Thank you.
Well, I will take that gratitude very much. Thank you very much, Kaikera. And joining us next should be Project User. I think we're just waiting for them to get into the getting into the box here. Oh, here they go. Here's Project User. Hello, Project.
Good evening.
Hello. Starting it off, what is happening with AMR? We've seen some things. We've seen some liveries. What's actually happening? Can you clear that up for us?
Right, so as far as I'm aware, which isn't too much at the moment, but from what I've been told, we've got our Formula 1 and Formula E teams. As far as I know, the Formula E team is going to Fernan, if I can remember correctly. Let me just fact check that. Yeah,
Okay.
so Formula E is going to Fernan, and so far we are not quite sure on Formula 1, so I'm expecting that decision to come out in the next couple of days.
And you've shown me a cool livery for Dubai. I'm not even sure if you
Yes.
announced it yet, but
It's been announced.
okay, I can't remember. But we've seen it. It's got names on it. It's got more light green on it. Who did you design that? Who designed that?
So, initially it was the idea to copy, or not copy in a way, it was inspiration from the Mercedes livery from 2020 in Dubai, and it's to commemorate the entire history of the team, and mostly to congratulate the two drivers that have been with us for the longest time, so Fernan and Professor. We've got their numbers, their names, and their achievements for the team, and we're very grateful for what they've done for us.
Okay. What about the light green accents though? And what's the actual design? Have you just mixed it up a little bit?
So, really the design is just to sort of pop out, and it's taking inspiration from our previous liveries. So, the extra green is sort of a play on our Season 1, which was more of a white and green livery. So we're just trying to incorporate that bright element into our newest livery.
Okay, so it's like a mashup of all of your historic liveries, should we say?
Yeah, it's like a mashup without it being too obvious. So we're trying to keep the current livery, but incorporate elements of it.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense now I think about it. Of course, people watching in chat, if you have any questions, feel free to say it in the chat and we'll see if we can bring them in. Ben, have you got anything as our little
Yeah, I
chat
have got
liaison
one.
here?
Continuing on with the theme, which I've asked every interviewer so far, I think it would only be relevant to not let you out of the loop. What are your predictions on the end of the season in terms of the championship winner and/or constructor? Who do you think is going to be taking that for both?
Well, it'd be silly to ignore Dakir's strong performance throughout the entire season, especially considering the fact that he did serve 3 race bans, which you would have expected for, well, Kaikera to capitalize on those, which he hasn't done too effectively. So, frankly, it's obviously going to go to Dakir, and obviously, in that case, it'll be brandstar. I see going for the Constructors' Championship too.
Are there any more questions in chat that you can see, Ben?
Yeah, just having a look now. Got one oh no, apologies. That's a little bit different. No, I think that's pretty much it there.
Okay, so thank you, Project, for joining us, unless something comes in really quickly.
I don't know, I've got the YouTube open, there's just a bunch of strange questions.
Okay.
Strange questions indeed.
You know what?
Okay.
I'm not gonna do the. I would have done the text line and answer the questions myself, but I will wait for that later.
Okay. Well, thank you, Project, for stopping being a camera operator and speaking for us today about Aston Martin. Hopefully, if any of you are curious on that livery and what's happening with the teams, hopefully that's now been cleared up for you. And we'll be getting into the final segment of the show, which is to talk about Real Miggy Kulit. Now, I would talk extensively on them, but just like every race this season, I'm going to finish it really early because I'm going to crash out of this segment. So, if anyone has any questions in the chat about anything to do with Ion, before we show you the sneak peek, list it now, and me and Ben will try our best at answering them.
Yeah, see a few old ones coming in for Project here. Just a little bit too late. Who will win the F2 Championship? It's an ironic question, isn't it? Well, I think in terms of drivers, I mean, we can talk about that, since the Constructors is already set in stone. It's close between the Advan and Craig of Prime and Noah, isn't it, really?
It is very close.
6.5 point separation between the two.
So it's stupidly close. We've
Yeah,
had
especially
we've had
racing.
9 rounds this season, 2 races per round, albeit the sprint races you get less points, but still, to be this close with 2 races left, a feature and a sprint, that's just mental.
It is indeed.
If anything else decent has come through. Got a
Jogsy
question from
says-
Static. Oh,
yeah,
go on, Ben.
Jogsy says, do you think eSpirit will perform well at UAE? Brackets, this is a genuine question. Close brackets. I mean, I'm sure they're really hoping for a good performance. B Guys is probably throwing everything on the line for this performance. So we'll see what they're able to pull out. In my eyes, it's pretty unpredictable. D-Pod, what do you think?
I don't really want to pick favourites. It's hard because I don't want to pick a favourite as a non-biased pundit for Ion, but B Guys' eSpirit team have been here since the first race of the first season of Ion, and to see them go because of a poor performance, that would be a big shame in my opinion. Obviously in Season 1 and Season 2 they were a half-decent team, scoring points pretty much all the time with Castronics. Season 3 they dipped a bit but came back up with Capitan Bo, who was then found out to be cheating using grav hacks. Season 4 they've just not been doing great. It would be sad to see them go, but again, the rules are the rules. If you lose, if you don't get enough points and you're out of the top 10, then you're going to lose your team. That's the rules, and you can't change the rules just because you don't like it. So
Yeah,
if they do go, it would be a shame, but you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it would be very sad indeed to see them go. They've been in it for so long, and B Guy's a class guy, but yeah, as you say, we can't bend the rules just for some of our favourites. I got an interesting question here coming in from, apologies if this pronunciation is incorrect, he has driven me for Stajekus. Says, are there any new upgrades for the season streams or any new ideas? Deepa, do you want to start off with that one?
Ideas.
Pardon?
Sorry, what did you say? Did you say new ideas?
Yeah, in terms of the streaming and media side of things, I think he means.
Oh, okay. There are some new ideas being thrown around. I don't really want to get into it, but subscribe and stay tuned because you may see a little changes and maybe some new graphics. Maybe.
Yeah, definitely is going to be onwards and upwards in terms of the streaming side of things.
And I think we will leave it there because, as I promised, we've got a little sneak peek for Season 5 of Ion. You've all been waiting for this fantastic moment. We've only got one picture to show you, but it is still a Season 5 sneak peek, no matter what. And it's this. We've got some new steering wheels, and from what I can see, we know the GT3 cars are going to be remodeled, because they said, Kashmir said, don't make new liveries for them. And these wheels have the GT3 brand car logos on them, so if I'm not mistaken, these are going to be custom wheels being added to the GT3 cars, which then begs the question, will GT3 cars have an interior next season? I personally don't know the answer to that, but why would they make wheels if there wasn't?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely suggests that, doesn't it? And if we can use any kind of inference, that would indicate it. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. It does definitely fill, I'm sure, me and many others with excitement of what's to come for next season, that's for sure.
Well, I think it's time to leave it off there. Before we go, though, every time we finish an Ion stream, we, of course, have to thank all of our beautiful members who support the media team every month. You should now be able to see their names scrolling past on your screen. Now, you should be updated for tomorrow if your name isn't on there yet.
Oh, that's my name.
Well done, Dakir. Well done. That is your name indeed. But everybody here has supported the media team at some point or is currently. And if you want to join them, head on over to youtube.com/armracing/join. You can just hit the join button that is next to the subscribe button below. And you can support us for just as little as 99 cents per month. So from me, from Ben, thank you very much for watching. If you've got any final words you want to add, Ben?
No, I'd agree with that. Thank you very much for giving your time into this stream today, and we hope we've delivered to the best of our ability.
So thank you very much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for Formula 1 and Formula 2 here in Dubai, and then on Sunday for GT3 and Crossbow in the USA. So for the very last time today, thank you for watching. Have a very safe evening or night wherever you are in the world, and goodbye.